Hi everyone, N.A.T here, and in this video I will show you how I synthesize a clap. And to be completely honest, I am still figuring this out, and this is just what I've learned so far. And also, another thing, remember to think with your own head. It's good to take advice from people like me or other people on the internet, but it's also very important to create your own way of doing things. So feel free to change it up, and to adjust your method to suit your own way of hearing sounds, which is what makes for good results, in my opinion, in sound design. If you're serious about sound design. Okay, so let's take a listen to what I've done so far. I've been creating claps for 1 month, I guess, and this is the result. This is what I created so far. Let me actually show you the waveform on here, so you can also see the waveform. That was pretty cool, right? Nice. So, let's and actually, I think making a clap sound it's kind of easy, to be honest. Also, most of the time with sound design, I find myself just wandering around aimlessly, and I think this is what good part of sound design is. You're not always gonna get this right from the start. It requires a lot of tweaking around before finding a sound that you like. Yeah, and also I figured that making sound claps it's easy compared to making kicks. At least for me, uh, creating a good sounding transient in the kick, it's a challenge. While with claps, it's just white noise. It's just white noise going through a filter. So it's nice, but also it's a lot of trial and error. So I'm gonna show you how to create a clap right now, but every time I get different results, so I can't guarantee that the results here will be amazing. Um, so let's take a look at actually let's take a listen at a 909 sample of a clap, just to get into the theory of a clap. Okay, so um, if I recorded a clap right now like this, okay, the waveform of this clap would look something like this. Okay, if we look here, let's see how this sounds. Okay, it would look something like this. But then you have, which is a simple clap, a single clap. But then you have all these pre-shifted claps stacked ahead of the main clap, okay, which give this classic clap sound, which is basically multiple claps, okay, clapping together. And you can hear this effect, I think, deliberately. I don't know if that was the first time in recorded music, but if you go listen to the song Hey Jude by the Beatles, I think you can really hear that effect of multiple people clapping in a way that's deliberate, like with a deliberate groove, which is interesting. So, so you see, one part of the theory of the clap is you use actually multiple claps, and the second part is that you use basically white noise, and you use a bandpass filter after it to create the effect. So let me show you how I like to create my claps usually, even though, as I said, I might change it up from time to time. So I like to start from a drum rack, and I like to use operator, but you can use any synthesizer, of course. And I like to call this main, okay? Then I like to set my I like to set my envelope to trigger mode, and then to use a decay of around, I don't know, 300 milliseconds. Then I like to use, I select white noise, and just for the sake of you, the listeners, I'll maximize this right now so you can hear everything balanced. And yeah, so right now it sounds something like this. Let me loop this to 2/4 notes, and let's listen. Okay, so it didn't work the way I wanted it to work. Oh yeah, the sustain must be down, of course. Okay, so it's just this impulse now. But let's use a bandpass filter at around 1K. Okay, this is the range where it sounds like a clap, around 1K. And I actually like to use, I don't know, 1.2 kilohertz. So let's go ahead and let's take a listen to this. And now it sounds like a clap. Nice. And again, let me make this louder for you. Okay, that's really nice. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create those pre-shifts ahead of the main clap. And I do this by simply copying and pasting this here. I rename this pre-shift 1. And actually, I need the decay to be shorter here, around 100 milliseconds, okay? And then I copy and paste this again and again 3 times. So we have 3 pre-shifts, just like in the 909 clap. Even though each clap is different, you know, you're gonna get a huge variety of results. So you don't necessarily need to do everything like the 909 clap. As we heard with the Vengeance samples, there are many different variations. You can also layer the sound in different ways. And now what I like to do is to go in the MIDI and to just draw in those notes ahead of the main clap like this. Let's hear to how this sounds. Okay, now it sounds like it's too dragged, it's too slow. Okay, the groove of this is too slow. So I just go like this. I shorten them and put them closer. And let's hear how this sounds. Already cooler. And then let's move some of them. Let's create some groove by displacing some of them, so they don't sound like a machine gun, you know. That's sounding interesting. Good. Now, as I said, this is trial and error, so I'm going to move them around a bit to find the best timing of them. And also adjusting the envelope of the main one could be could get you a different result. Making it very short, for example. Too short, perhaps. Let's go back to 600. Let's... Oh my god, whoa. Sorry, I wasn't even adjusting it. Let's try 400. Now this seems to give it like a reverb effect. Let's go to let's adjust the pre-shifts, the decay of the pre-shifts, make it shorter. Okay, and put them even closer. Okay, this sounds decent, okay? And I also liked actually to use the IO section here in the drum rack and to use the choke groups. With the choke groups like this, I select all of them and set them all to choke group 1. And what this does is basically it prevents the sounds from overlapping with each other when they play very close. So the sound stays very clean and the punch is preserved. I could also use, if I wanted to, but I don't really like to be too with claps, to be too fixated on looking at the waveform. But if we want to look at the waveform, let's do this. Yeah. Yeah, not, as I said, I don't like to become too fixated with looking at the waveform. This is kind of dragged, you know, a lot of pre-shifts. I like it like this, to be honest. So, we can also do something like this. We could try to map the frequency of the bandpass filter as well as the resonance to macro 1 and to map all siblings as well. Okay, and then let's play around with the filter a little bit to see if we can find some more interesting setting or if we're good already the way it is. It's important to know that since I'm using white noise, just a randomly generated waveform, it isn't retriggering at each new cycle, so you're hearing a slightly different sound each time, which is why I'm going to record this and record multiple takes and then select the best one. Okay, but this will affect the punch of the sound. Now, I don't know. Let me know which setting you like the most. I'm gonna stick with, I don't know, around 1.3 kilohertz. Sounds pretty cool around here, and maybe let's tweak around the resonance as well a little bit. Call me crazy, but this time around I'm liking a low resonance. But the more if you put it around here, it makes it sound more like a clap. Let's keep it around here. Okay, so that's good enough as a starting sound. Good. And I'm going to record this now. So on a channel like this and setting this channel to resampling and just recording this. Let's go ahead and record. Okay, 4 takes, it's enough. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use EQ, OTT, distortion, whatever, to make this clap sound even cooler. Let's start with OTT. And actually, reverb sounds very cool with claps. You can hear that it sounds very cool around here. I like it around here. Let's for a second just reference with the Vengeance stuff. So these have much more higher frequencies. Air. Let's add some. Nice, and let's remove some of the lows. And also again, let me maximize this for you so you can hear it well. Good. And now I find that, which is also why it's important, in my opinion, to learn some sound design if you want to. Like, it's good to go ahead because it really teaches you how to create punch, I guess, in the sounds. You know, I won't go right now in the details here, but basically you can play around here with the EQ and you'll get a more defined and cooler sound. Yeah, I'm liking this. Let's reference again to this to the Vengeance samples. Good. Hey, I'm liking this. I'm digging this. I like to try to dip a little bit here the frequencies on the bandpass filter on this, just so it doesn't sound, you know, too heavy in there. Then I don't know if I said this already, but reverb sounds very cool with claps. So let's add it. Already you can hear it sounds very cool, just like this. And let's actually use some side chaining as well, some ducking. So here, let's duck this pre-effects. Hey, I'm digging this as it is. Honestly, I don't know if I need to tweak this reverb much. Let's try to remove this, give it more highs. Not a bad idea. I am digging this, honestly. And we could actually remove a little bit of weight here. Nice, it's really nice. And I think you can have a lot of reverb on the claps. Depends on your taste, you know. Maybe a little less. I like it like this. I could try to use some overdrive as well. Before reverb, maybe. Now, this is what I found with claps, that the more you compress it and distort it, compress it, and the more you work on it, and the more it would sound like more like complextro, more electro, more heavy, so to speak, more industrial. Yeah. So I don't know how hard I need to go here. We could. So when I want to create different versions, I just do this. I just duplicate this. And here I have the distortion on. Sorry. Nice. And let me clean the lows after the distortion. Good, that's enough. So what I like to do then is to just create a export channel and to resample everything in here. So let's do this and let's resample these sounds here. Nice, nice. And then this harder version. Good, very good. And now I just take them, put them here, so I can cut them properly for exporting them. So I like to do this to just manually adjust the starting point of the sample. Okay, and then do this basically on every sample like this. Yeah, nice. Okay, just do this. I'm going kind of fast, honestly. You can because you know sound design can really be something where you get lost the whole day. But I'm trying to make this video for you as quickly as possible. Okay, and just cut them up like this. It's fine if you have like a gated reverb effect, like with this clap. As you see, the reverb is pretty much gated very soon, but that's fine. It sounds cool. The 909 clap was like that. If we go, you can hear it's gated. Okay, and next, I just export them one by one. But first, I like to save the project, going in sound design, and I like to say the projects like this. Look at today's date, 12th of September 25. Call this clap, and actually I call this project clap 3 because it's the third sound design session of clap I'm doing today. And I just export them like this. I select normalize, so they're normalized, and 24. I select 24 in the bit depth because you don't need 32. Yeah, and export one by one like this, and I give them a letter. So this will be A, and this will be B, and so on and so forth. And the reason why I use letters and not numbers is because it just works better in the Ableton browser to have letters instead of numbers. It's just my preference. When I use numbers, it doesn't really work the way I want it. A B C D E, A B C D E. Sorry, because I'm doing more things at once. F G. So I'm creating my my bank. I like to create kind of a bank out of each session. Then we can go and listen back to what we created so far. Nice, very nice. Oh my god, I actually forgot to use spread. Ah, damn. Basically, what I mean is this. I forgot to, if we go back to our drum rack. By the way, hear how different the starting sounds. It's very interesting. I forgot to use this, the spread. So basically all the sounds I made are mono, apart from the reverb, which is not ideal for claps. It's best to create them in spread like this. And then if you want mono, you can just use either the left or the right channel, you know. So let's re-record them. this happens, you know, sometimes. And I will re-record them again, you know, like this in the export section. But now they definitely sounds much cooler. And let's also record this version of the claps, the heavier one with the distortion. Nice, nice, nice. Let's go ahead. Much better. So I'm not gonna make you go through this again, the exporting, but I will re-export these like this, and so they will sound. It's better to have them stereo instead of mono. So yes, because it's kind of complicated, at least for me, to make stereo from mono, but it's much easier to make mono out of stereo, you know. Okay, so that was it for the for how I create claps. Let me know if you have any question, and yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time.